Hello and welcome to IMDB's Worst 100.
Today we're looking at number 96, Time Chasers.
We're actually going to show you the DVD cover this time because, well, I mean, look at it. It actually comes in a little cardboard case, which says on the front, premium movies at an affordable price. Now, actually, neither of those two things are true.
Yeah, we had to import this from America, which did not come cheaply, on top of a kind of expensive DVD. It cost us £40.
It's probably the most expensive DVD I've ever bought.
Yeah. Was it worth it? Let's find out.
Well, you see, this plane, this stuff, enables who's ever inside it to travel through time.
Okay, so the leading man's name is Nick, who's a physics teacher who has created time travel machine. He invites along to come and see his time traveling aeroplane a journalist named Lisa, also a man from a company called GenCore, which I still don't really understand what they do, but they're a big business. And they
A vaguely defined big business.
Yeah. Nick takes them into the aeroplane. They're like, this is not really a time traveling machine. So he proves it by taking them 50 years into the future.
Jimmy's. Can you return the polymers tomorrow?
They come back to the present time and the guy's really excited and he's like, I'm gonna get J.K. Robertson here, who is like the highest up man in GenCore.
Yeah.
So he's like, we're gonna make loads of money from this.
Cha-ching.
Yeah. A few days later, Nick runs into Lisa at a supermarket and then he's like, sort of asks her out and they go into the time traveling machine for a date into the 50s. Then they're snogging in the aeroplane and then they go back to the future to the time when they went with a guy from GenCore. And this time it's really different though, it's like a dystopian future. Which is quite funny. It's just sort of down this like alleyway and there's like broken cars and people with guns just sort of trying to fight each other. So they then worry and think, right, we need to go back to the present and say to JK, you know, you can't do this because you're gonna ruin the future. And then JK's like, well, it's fine, we'll sort it out before we get there. And you basically find out they're really evil.
What did you think? Did you think we were going to use the transport to take kids on history trips? You knew full well the power of the transport.
And then he tries to get them arrested, which then begins a series of insane events. They escape the GenCore building and they go back to where the time-traveling aeroplane is.
We've got to go back in time.
Why?
We've got to stop my past self from giving the demo of the transport to Robertson.
It's fine, we'll just go back to the morning of when it's happened. So he's not really giving himself much time, you know. He could have gone days back and been like, hey, no, man, don't.
I figure we'll go back to the morning before I give the demo to Robertson. That ought to give us enough time.
They go back, but by the time they get there, JK is already caught onto their plan and he's waiting.
It's Robertson! Time jumped us!
Also in a plane at the exact right place at the exact right time, and amazingly manages to shoot down their plane and kill Lisa with a pistol. So their plane then crashes and Lisa's dead. So Nick then needs to, on foot, make his way to the airport. So he goes on this long series of chases. He gets there, but unfortunately his past self and Lisa have discovered the crashed plane and they are then flown somewhere else to go check out the crashed plane. So when Nick gets to the airport, he's not there. And he gets kidnapped by JK.
Well, Nick, it seems you forgot you were in the past.
And for some reason, JK takes him back to 1777, and there he tries to kill him. But Nick is saved by his past self, who just turns up with Lisa in 1777. No idea how he knew how to be there. And he saves him by attacking JK using a group of Civil War Minutemen militias.
Whoa, Minutemen! Correction, they are pissed Minutemen.
And then it kind of comes down to this final showdown, doesn't it?
Yeah, they sort of have a punch out in the aeroplane for a bit,
Yeah.
and then it crashes. And then Nick like really slowly crawls down the tree.
It's so slow.
And you literally saw every step, every breath, everything till he gets to the bottom. And then suddenly JK just kind of appears with a ripped shirt sleeve. You know, they kind of chat for a bit and then JK shoots Nick, but then the aeroplane crashes on JK. So those two
They're
are
both
like
dead.
It ends with them back in sort of the original present. And it's just a bit confusing now because it's actually the past, the future, and the present.
I'd like to present you with Gilda Heinz, star of the new GenCore television commercials.
This plane can travel through time. You just wait until you see all this electronic equipment.
Matt, you're fired.
So you sort of see that Nick doesn't tell GenCore, and then the film ends with Nick going to the supermarket and Lisa's there.
The romance, yeah, because that's the most interesting thing that happened in the film, not the time travel.
What did you think of the cast choices?
Yeah, the cast is a bit strange, isn't it? You can tell the film's on a budget just by their casting. I thought Lisa was fine, she was quite nice, and I think the main character's the one that is kind of interesting because he's a bit of an oddbod, isn't he, really?
Yeah.
It's hard to really put a finger on what it is about him. I did kind of like him. I thought he was quite funny.
Yeah.
But in a kind of sort of sweet way.
Oh, I quite liked him because he was a bit of an arse.
I come from New York, okay? I'm an actor.
Yeah, that's good. If you could act your way north, that would be great.
He was a bit rude to people, a bit,
Yeah.
cocky. And
He was cheeky.
Yeah, cheeky. I quite liked him.
Did you notice anything about his physical appearance?
You mean his chin?
His chin, yeah. He's got probably the most incredible chin I've ever seen on a person.
Well, it goes out, doesn't it?
And sometimes he kind of flexes it and it looks like a pert little tangerine balancing on there, isn't it? It's like he could have rested a dinner plate on it.
But I think he was quite exceptional in the sense that, he's this really clever physics teacher. He's created a time traveling machine, but he also can beat the shit out of people. Well, he's like the budget Arnie, as he's one-liners, and then he's like, poof, and they're gone, or he's just he's quite quick.
How successful do you think the film is at portraying the past and the future?
Oh, it's so bad. Why did they make a time traveling film if they didn't have the budget or anything to make it look seem realistic in any way? It's just the first future was just people, everyone seemed to be running or on roller skates, and they just sat in this really grimy cafe.
It's supposed to be 2041 and they're wearing bright neon clothes, which I suppose is supposed to be futuristic, but apart from that...
Just look more 80s.
I don't believe this. It's like a dream.
This is 2041.
The dystopian future was just like an alleyway with broken cars and rubbish on the floor, and you just think, and they're everyone just had mud on their faces and just standing there with their guns or whatever.
It was weak.
And I guess
It
the
was
best
really weak.
was probably 1777 because they had all the costumes. But it was still rubbish. It was just in this forest, which was clearly just the forest that they've been using for all the other forest scenes, wasn't it?
I'm guessing it was some kind of amateur reenactment group that did it for free.
That's what I think as well. Oh, and there was the 50s as well, but that was just they just obviously went to a diner that was a 50s style diner. They just went from one that there's probably in their town. They're we'll just get that, and then you just saw them walking down the street or something. What is your favourite scene?
I really enjoyed the bike chase scene. In fact, the whole build-up. So first of all, he nicks a car, and he immediately crashes it. He somehow manages to flip it. In the space of 20 seconds. And the guy's there what have you done to my car?
He didn't even say sorry, he just said, I don't drive, and then he ran off.
Yeah. What an arsehole. And then he cycles away on a bike, and then this kind of the two goons get on bikes as well, and they're cycling through the forest very weakly jostling each other.
Yeah.
I just remember there's a bit where he kind of just goes, pokes him. What were your favourite bits?
I just liked any scene where Nick was fighting someone was just really hilarious. There's like that one bit where he was just beating up a guy in like where the aeroplane was. It was like in the building, and he had like a wood thing, and then Lisa came in, whacked him, and then Nick like knocked him out, and then he said something really stupid.
We started it.
The film definitely has quite a lot of one-liners, doesn't it? But they're not very well delivered usually.
I thought they had like quite a lot of heart to them. You could tell he was excited whenever he had one, if you know what I mean.
Great, we're lost.
No, we are definitely found.
One thing I noticed in the film is that the characters have really bad plans.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering if you picked up on any of those and which plan you thought was the worst.
Okay, definitely the worst one was when they discovered that the future had got really rubbish.
Yeah.
Was to go and see JK and try and persuade him to not do it. Nick's not a stupid man, he made a time machine, like he must know that this guy's
really
not gonna
naive,
listen.
wasn't it?
Yeah. That's not the first thing you'd think, is it? You're not like, oh my god, quick, let's go talk to him.
Jacobson, we have here a couple of corporate spies.
What?
They didn't even think that it could backfire. They believed he had goodness in his heart.
For me, there was one other plan that really stood out as terrible, which was JK's plan to get rid of Nick. He takes him back to 1777, which, I mean, we've already said that's probably because the film had those costumes.
Yeah.
But there really is no reason for the character JK to do it. It doesn't make any sense because he's already shown that he's willing to kill them.
Yeah.
So he may as well have just killed Nick. But for some reason he takes Nick back to the 1777. Nick says, "Why have you taken me back here? I can disrupt the future from here." And JK's like, "Oh yeah. Oh, I guess I'll kill you now." This was like, yeah, maybe you should have done that. They go for a walk as well. It's not like he just drops him off out the plane. It's like, yeah, he walks him somewhere. Why? There's no reason.
Did the plot holes distract or put you off the film in any way?
No, I don't think so. I think the thing is with a time travel film, even good time travel films, even big budget time travel films are generally full of plot holes because, you know, as a concept, it just doesn't really make sense, does it? Time travel is pretty hard to do without making a whole lot of plot holes. They've done the best with what they've got. They get some great characters in there. There's the taxi driver that you see for a bit, and he's great fun.
Right at the front gate, we have some nut here.
Right now, I'd kill for some chunky monkey.
The acting is okay. The effects are okay.
Yeah.
The locations are okay. Apart from maybe JK's big boardroom office, which is...
It's just in a library, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a library.
Also, his office isn't an office. It's just at the top of these like big stairs. There's no privacy. He just has to sit there and get all of his work, and everyone can see him.
You could see the limitations, but I enjoyed it, and the plot holes didn't really stop that for me. And especially coming off the back of Date Movie, which was absolutely appalling. And that's number 97, and, well, this is number 96, as of July. That's our list.
2016.
And I just think, what kind of world are we living in where something that's really tried hard to be good and has done so well with what limitations it has is considered worse than Date Movie, which had a big budget, big stars, and is absolutely terrible. Well, let's just tick this off the list.
Don't watch it.
Wait, so are you from the future? Because we already watched the film and it wasn't that bad. So that should mean that you liked the film. So why are you even here?
Well, this makes no sense. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed and you haven't subscribed, make sure to do so, and then you can keep up with the rest of the list and see how we do.
So let's wrap things up. The video's over. Go away.